So hey, listen, Mike, I got a busy day today. I got to run up and see my buddy's restaurant at 11.
Okay.
So
Let's get to work.
yeah, if you don't mind, I already cooked you some breakfast.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and enjoy it. And I thought what we would do is I keep getting asked, okay, I've got my business idea, I'm ready to go. How do I set up my corporation? Like, do I have to go to a lawyer? Mm-hmm. Do I have to pay a bunch of money to get this set up?
You could pay an accountant, probably going to be $1,500, maybe $2,000.
Well, and that's what everyone keeps telling me is
Yeah.
that they think it's going to be, $1,000, $2,000. And as you know, we've set up many companies before, and I thought we would show people how to actually set up a company, get their employer identification number, which, as you know, they'll need for the bank.
Yep.
How they could do that for free
Okay.
rather than being charged for it. And then I thought we could talk a little bit about the operating agreements that you have to have once you have a corporation.
All of which you will need to get a bank account for the bank to be able to give you that account and do business with you.
No doubt, no doubt. So look, I think let's just jump into it. The company that I've been using forever is a company called Harvard Business Services.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I have.
Yeah, and I think they do a phenomenal job. So I thought what we would do for our audience is let's go set up a corporation.
Let's do it.
So Mike, when I think about setting up a company, one of the sites that I go to is a site called DelawareInc.com, which is where I'm at right now. And I've used this as a way of coming up with a new company. But before I go in and actually set up a company, the biggest thing I think an entrepreneur has to worry about is, do they do a closed corporation or what's called a C Corp? Mm-hmm. Or do they do a pass-through entity, which could be an S corporation or a double LC?
Right.
And the difference between those types of entities are primarily tax-driven. And I'm not going to try to get into all of the ins and outs of that. Mm-hmm. What I always recommend to new young companies, if they're not going to be taking on a lot of shareholders, that the limited liability company is probably the better way to go. It's got the pass-through benefits. Mm-hmm. So if you're incurring losses in the early day of your business, you may be able to use those losses against personal income.
Right.
And again, you got to consult, obviously, a tax person. But, or if you're going to have maybe a lot of shareholders, but you still want the loss to come through,
Yeah.
you could do an S corporation where you're allowed to issue stock, but you can't issue different classes of stock, as I understand it. And again, to our audience, what I would say is, if you're really going to get into that, consult somebody on that. Mm-hmm. But if you want to just set up your company, you can go to this Delaware.com, you come over here, and let's just say that you and I wanted to set up a new company called Capital Guys, right? We just go in here and we put in our name and we put in our email address, and then I put in my number, my phone number. I'm at this page now. I'm going to form a Delaware corporation, or I can do a double LC. Okay, and in this case,
Today we're doing double LC.
correct. Okay, so here we are. You get to decide which one you want. I always tell people just go with the green. It's $229. And it gives you kind of all these things, right?
Now, why would people have to decide between the three?
Yeah, so, like for example, on the standard, they give you a binder with, for you to put your minutes in and all that good stuff. In today's day and age, most people hold that electronically, so
Right.
there's really not a point in doing that. You know, in the basic, again, it's the same thing, but they're giving you operating agreements, digital membership certificates, bank resolution forms. To be honest with you, you're going to get that from the bank anyways when
Yep.
you go to open up your account.
Yeah.
Because what the bank's going to want when you go to open up your bank account, they're going to want a certificate of incorporation, your operating agreement, which we'll talk about later, and they're going to want an EIN number, right?
Yep.
And so really all you need to do is hit green here, and you can say, I'm going to select green. So it says basically you can get express service if you need the documents today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend that, to be honest with you. My experience has been, I have always been able to get what I needed within
Minutes.
minutes, yeah. So I don't wish express service. That's my recommendation. If you really believe you need it, go ahead and do that.
It's a nice upsell.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, who's the person that's going to do this thing? It's going to be me in this case, right? And you'll notice here, for an additional $95, they'll get your EIN number for you. Now in a minute, I'll show you how to get an EIN number without paying a dime and get it instantly. So I'm going to say no thanks, I don't need it. And you know, here they say orders submitted to the IRS 3 to 4 business days, but the reality is it's much quicker than that. And so there you go, there's my order, and all I have to do at this point is, let's see,
Confirm.
I confirm the information is correct, and I go to the next page, and I'm sure they're going to ask me to pay something. So it's that simple, Mike, to set up the corporation. And as you can see, I'm doing it for $229. You can put it on your American Express, PayPal, whatever works for you. I'm not going to check out. I just simply wanted to show you how simple that is to set up a corporation.
So we just saved the viewer a lot of money,
Yes.
either going to a lawyer and accountant to set you up an LLC. You talked about the minor differences between a closed corp and an open corp. And for $229, just like that,
Yeah.
you're up and running.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using a large law firm, you could end up spending, you know, upwards up to $5,000.
Wow.
By the time you get done with the operating agreement, which I'm going to show you how you can do that without having to spend a lot of money.
Right.